So this week we have something really special. And if you're a bit of a Camino tragic like me, you're going to love this chat. We're talking to Dan Mullins, who wrote that absolute Camino classic Somewhere Along the Way and has just brought out a film. And we're going to be talking about that coming right up. Dan, thank you so much for joining us today. What a,
Hey, Rob.
a
It's great.
legend.
I don't know
That
about
song
that.
of yours is a real earworm.
It is an earworm. That's right. People say that once they hear it, they can't get it out of their heads, which is a good thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It
Yeah.
is. It's an absolute classic, isn't it? So you've got an amazing sort of connection with the Camino. I mean, you're a singer, songwriter. You have this fantastic podcast. What's your connection with the Camino? How did it all start?
Well, I was mourning my late brother, Benny, died very young, very suddenly in 2010. And I was at my mother's place and I pulled a book down off the shelf, The Camino by Shirley MacLaine, and I read it in an afternoon and promised myself that I'd walk the Camino one day to honor Benny. And then was a very busy guy and
Yeah,
never got around to it. And then 2014, back in the same room, this time it was my father who had passed away. And I read the book again and again promised myself that I'd do it to honor Dad and Benny.
yeah,
And then I never got the time. And then in 2016, I had planned to go to the Olympic Games in Rio as a radio journalist, but it was cancelled with about 3 weeks out. And I was planning on celebrating my 50th birthday in Rio. And my wife said, "What are we going to do about your 50th birthday now? You know, we're going to have to organize a party and it'll cost us thousands of dollars." And I said, "Well, I don't know. I just, won't do anything really, probably." She said, "Why don't you do that walk in Spain?" And I said, "I
yeah.
don't have a ticket. I haven't got a bag or shoes." And lo and behold, the ticket was on the kitchen bench a couple of days later as my 50th birthday present. So 3 weeks later, I was on the Camino, completely unprepared. I didn't even know what Buen Camino was. People were saying it to me, and I was saying, "What are they saying? I don't know what they're saying." But it just seeped into my every pore, Rob,
Yeah.
on that 3 week Camino. And I walked into Santiago de Compostela on my 50th birthday, and the rest, they say, is history. But that's how I learned of it, how I came to know of it, and how I ended up on the Camino. And then it's really been part of my every single day in the 9.5 years since.
Yeah, it's amazing how it gets into the soul somehow or something, doesn't it?
It does. It
Yeah.
does. And it's constantly calling me back. And I've been back 4 times. So I've done it 5 times here.
Wow, that's great, isn't
Mm.
it? Yeah, I often sort of talk to Camino tragics. It's like, what do you do between Caminos? Think about the next one
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
next one.
yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. So let's get on to the movie because you had this really popular song, still is, a fantastic. I think people refer to it as a Camino anthem, and you decided to put this film together, which I have to say I saw in Sydney. Took my wife Pat along, and we went along and really enjoyed seeing it. What drove you to do that? And for people who haven't seen it yet, what would you say they should expect? Is it a Camino movie? Is it a music video? I mean, there's lots of your fantastic music in it. It's kind of a blend of things, isn't it?
It is a blend of things, Rob. And thank you for your kind words. Yeah, so the movie came about because I had performed in Canada. I was a guest of the Canadian company of Pilgrims, did some
Mm,
shows in and around Toronto a few years ago. And I met this fellow, Simon Byrne, who's a movie director and a creative
mm,
producer. And he had heard that we were doing this musical Camino and reached out and said, "Can I come and film it? I'd like to perhaps to
mm.
make a documentary about it." And I said, "Sure, we'd love to have you." So that's how it sort of came about. And it was really as informal as all of that, Rob.
Yeah,
There was really no strategic plan in terms of, I know that Simon had a plan in his head, and you might
yeah,
even ask him if he feels he what he ended up with matched that
yeah,
anticipation or not. But for my I was just walking the Camino and Simon was coming along for the journey and going to be recording it. And Andy Holloway was joining us as well on a camera as well. So when you say, what is it? Look, it's a story and it's a documentary, a feature-length documentary about a musical journey. So naturally, there's going to be music all through it and the Camino all through it because it is a Camino. But to me, it's more about the people
Mm.
and the stories that you learn. And now, if you were to ask me what does the Camino mean to you, Dan, I would say it's all about connection. So it's connection to other people that you meet. It's connection with people when you get home because you try and stay connected to the Camino community. And it's unique in that respect, Rob, because you don't go to Disneyland and come back and try and seek out the other people you will share the lines with at Disneyland, right? But you do, or Bali or even Europe. But when you walk the Camino, you tend to seek out that connection. And that's what this film is about, the connection that music brings people together, the Camino brings people together, and the sharing of stories brings people together. And so what you see in the film is a collective journey of connection, and you see the beauty of the Spanish. It really is a love letter to Spain, and you see the essence of the Camino in this collective Camino that we walked together, a Camino of community and connection.
Yeah, and Simon did some great camera work on it.
Astonishing.
Yeah, yeah.
Astonishing. Absolutely beautifully shot.
Really good.
Yeah.
And I've since started looking at some of his stuff online. His photography is incredible. You know, some of the photography in Santiago.
Absolutely fantastic. He's a very, very talented man and he has a wonderful eye
Mm,
to add to the story while becoming part of the story.
mm.
So while he's shooting what he's shooting, he's not just saying, oh, this will be a good, something to play in the background or something to link to spots. No, 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 no. He's shooting because it's part of the story.
Yeah.
The landscape is part of the
It's
story.
all connected, very sort of strategic in that sense.
Absolutely, without question. And it's so gorgeous. I mean, you can imagine, my wife Jen and I, we knew that Simon had made the film, he shot the film, and we were spent most days with him, nights with him as well. And we weren't quite sure what to expect. And then one afternoon, I was doing a show here in Sydney, and I got a text to say the movie's ready. First version I've sent to you tonight. And so you think, oh, so we went home and watched it, but we were just gobsmacked at how beautiful it was. And because you see, while you're walking, you're not aware that there are drones, and you're not aware that Simon's off. Well, you might be having, like you might be having a beer in the afternoon or whatever. He's off getting additional footage and piecing it together in his mind, and he has done it brilliantly. Absolutely,
it came together really well. I think one of the things that stood out for me, and the difficulty with the Camino, I think, is we all have our own thoughts about what the Camino is to us, and I think the beauty of it is it's almost whatever you want it to be, and it's many different things to many different people. And
that's right.
And a lot of people, probably like me, tend to think the Camino is a very solitary, reflective sort of journey. But your film shows the other side, which a lot of people love, and that's the type of Camino they have. It's about connection, it's about joy, it's about enjoying the company of others, and that comes through so strongly. I think that was amazing, and the mix of people that you had made that work so well.
Yeah, that's right. I remember being in Leon in 2016, and I was on my own. This was the very first time I walked the Camino, and I hadn't sort of walked very much. I'd only been walking for about 2 or 3 days, but I hadn't really mixed with any pilgrims at all on the Meseta. And then I get to Leon, and I was just sort of walking the streets, and I heard this laughter, this kind of collective, this noise of all these people together. And I thought, oh, those people are having fun. And as I got closer, I realized, oh, they're pilgrims. And it was I'll never forgotten the noise, Rob, the sound of a collective group of pilgrims. A flock of pilgrims is the collective noun. And the sound that they make when they're all laughing and they're connecting and they're telling stories and they're sharing their stories. It's really quite a distinctive sound, and you never forget it if you've heard it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting, and we'll get back to the movie in a second. But just hearing you say that, my last Camino was on the Via de la Plata, which is quite lonely, lots of solitude, and I walked up to Astorga, and when I hit Astorga, I thought this is going to be interesting because I'm going to hit the Francis now, and it's going to be busy, and it was just that it was almost overwhelming initially, just the numbers of pilgrims, the noise, like you said, the joy, the laughter. and I walked on the Camino Francis for 3 days before heading off on another remote Camino on the Invierno. I loved that 3 days on the Francis.
Yeah.
It was all about that community. Like you say, it's laughing and joking and bonding with others. And I think that the Francis route is quite unique in that respect. It's a very, very social environment.
Yeah. 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 We're going back again in May to do it again from Leon. So I love that. But and we know it's going to be busy.
Are you taking your guitar?
I am indeed taking my guitar. And we know it's going to be busy, but it kind of comes with the territory now. There's no escaping it.
Yeah.
Really, if you want to walk Samos and Sarria, if you want to walk in Palos del Rey, if you want to walk in those beautiful towns, you just have to expect that it's going to be busy.
Yeah.
Simple
And
as
embrace
that.
it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So here's a question I always ask people who join me on the channel. To you, what is the Camino?
Well, again, as I said before, it's a connection.
Yeah.
It's connection for
Yeah.
me. So it's also when I say I walked for Benny and my father, I also walked for my late brother Leo. So two of my younger brothers have passed away in the last 15 years. And when I walked, I genuinely mourned and grieved. But I allowed myself to do that, Rob, and leave that there. So when I say connection, I don't just mean connection with other people, but it's a connection to a part of me that I chose to leave behind there. And when I walked from Porto Marin, that was the day I really grieved Benny in 2016 a great deal. I was heartbroken and remembered our childhood and the nature of his death. He died suddenly and he basically drank himself to death, really. And we were helpless to do anything about it. And so the helplessness and all of the emotion, anger, and regret that I felt, I really thought I needed to put it somewhere. It needed a home. Can't carry it with you all of your life. It'll weigh you down and exhaust you. So I put it there. I made a point of saying to myself, and I hadn't planned on doing this. It came to me, the inspiration came to me, but because I was walking, as you do, you discover things about yourself and you have this connection. And I said to myself, okay, that's a great idea. You could leave it here. And so now when I go back, I connect with it. And I connect with other people from around the world. And I also connect with the millions of pilgrims who've walked before me, their intention and their devotion. And I also connect with, via St. James, with the teachings of Jesus Christ, which are very, very simple. Love, treat others with kindness and respect. Some of your viewers will know of the Australian legend John Laws, the radio legend John Laws, who passed away a couple of weeks ago. At his funeral, Russell Crowe, the Academy Award-winning actor, gave the eulogy, and he said one of John's greatest traits was his kindness, because John saw it as a form of intelligence. He thought of it as a means of being the best version of yourself. You had to be smart about being that. And that's what I find on the Camino. You talking and walking with people who are trying their best to be their best version of themselves, to pay for someone else's meal or to carry someone's bag or to share a room with someone who can't find a room. All of those things that you wouldn't maybe necessarily do at home, tending to one another's feet, sharing a taxi or getting a taxi for somebody who's hurt or injured or tired. Connection with you, connection with others, and connection with the best of us, which is the teachings of Jesus, and that is just be honest and loving and kind to one another.
I think that's one of the best descriptions I've heard of the Camino. And in one word, I think you nailed it. It's connection.
Yeah. And it dawned on me that I guess it dawned on me maybe the third time I walked the Camino. I had taken my wife and my sons, and we walked with our dear friend Claudette Clausen as well. And I watched my sons connecting with people. And
why does that happen? What
Well, I think,
what you're
I think it's,
describing is absolutely what happens on the Camino.
yeah. Well, Robert, I think everybody's equal.
Yeah,
Everybody's equal. You're all wearing the same sort of clothes.
yeah, that's
No,
right.
no one's all
No
dolled up.
egos.
No one's wearing a three-piece suit.
Yeah,
You're all wearing the same brand of clothes, mainly.
yeah,
You all look the same.
yeah.
You're all eating the same food, and you're all in the same environment. There's no fancy restaurants uptown and
Yeah.
low rent joints downtown. It's all the same, and all the people are sitting around the same place. So in many ways, everybody's equal, and therefore everybody's approachable.
Mm.
And if you're approachable, then people will approach you,
Yeah.
and the invitation is open. So why not? And as I said before, when that day when I walked the corner into the plaza in Leon and heard the pilgrims laughing,
Mm.
there was nobody saying, "Oh, I'm a doctor," and "Oh, I'm a politician, I'm a teacher." No one cared.
I've
I'm a
usually
bank
got
manager.
no idea what people do.
No one cares. No one even asks
Mhm.
because it just doesn't
It's funny.
matter.
I met a lovely lady on my last Camino. We were chit-chatting, walking down from the Cruz de Ferro, and we'd met in that lovely albergue in Rabanal.
Ah,
Um, and generally, you don't know what other people do. And we chat, 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 chat. And apologies, you'll know who you are if you're watching this video. Uh, and I don't know how we got onto it. I said, so what do you do back home? Oh, I'm in government. And it turns out this person was, like, I'll call it a state governor, not quite that, but, quite a senior sort of government official. Go, oh, wow, that's interesting. We never talked about it again, but it was
well,
interesting.
that's exactly right. But at the end of the day, whether you're a state governor
Mm,
or you're a pilgrim.
yeah.
And that particular person would have that day considered themselves a pilgrim. And that's
Oh,
exactly the
absolutely.
same as the person walking up behind them or in front of them or beside them.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it
Yeah,
so.
and it's interesting how people connect. The most unlikely people connect. You'll get, I don't want to sort of identify people, but, much older people suddenly buddying up with much younger people and really making a connection and, walking together. And yeah, it's just people who wouldn't normally meet in
Yeah,
day-to-day life.
yeah.
Yeah,
And staying connected too
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
for days, weeks, months, and years ahead. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's wonderful.
So we must get back to the movie.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've listened to a lot of your podcasts. I know we can go like that for a long time. So tell me a little bit about the group, because when you were talking about the Camino being so much about connection, I think that comes through really powerfully in your movie, and particularly with the stories that the pilgrims are relating, very different backgrounds and all obviously really connecting, dancing around the campfire, sort of quite literally.
Yeah. Well, we sort of opened it up
Mm,
and said if you'd like to come,
mm,
register and come on the journey with us. And it was really not a selection.
mm.
It was first in, best dressed.
Yeah,
So we did have people from literally all over the world.
yeah,
And what we found pretty quickly was that people were open to connecting. And the very first night in Leon, I said, I hope that you all will reach out to the person that you're sitting beside tonight and introduce yourself. And you don't have to say much about yourself, but just let them know that you'd be happy to walk with them or help them
mm,
if they need help over the next 2 weeks.
mm,
But if we can all sort of make an effort
mm,
to reach out a hand of welcome or introduction, then we'll grow tighter. And
mm,
as a group, we'll have a much better time. That's what it was about. It was about having a good time, right?
yeah,
And everybody embraced that. And then the second time we did another musical Camino, we did the same thing. This one was about inclusion and about connection as
mm,
well. And the same thing happened. And I think that people, I sometimes liken it, Rob, I don't know if ever at school you were in a school musical
not very musical, sadly.
right, or in a school play or in a production of some
Yeah,
description. Behind the curtain, you're a team.
yeah,
You get closer and closer and closer and closer, and then afterward you get that great sense of collegiate
yes.
of togetherness, and that's what happened on this Camino, and I think it's really an extension of the Camino family in a way
Mm.
that you spend time together, you come to know others' weaknesses and strengths, and so you
Mm.
allow for that.
Mm.
And that's very important, to be forgiving and to be accepting, and so people from around the different parts of the world have different expectations.
Yeah.
I won't name the nations, but some people from some parts of the world have different expectations than people in other parts of the world, and perhaps aren't as flexible or more flexible or whatever. And so we need to be mindful of that. And everybody was just wonderful
Mm.
and generous and accepting. And
Yeah.
yeah, I know that everybody is still in touch now, because the WhatsApp
Yeah.
group is just today
Okay.
going nuts, because it's one of our Pilgrims' birthdays, and everybody from around the world is
Isn't
wishing
that
them all the
fun?
best, and the beautiful, wonderful messages that you wouldn't normally get from
Yeah.
from from people who really are effectively strangers. You
And
don't know
it's
them at all.
strange, isn't it? It just seems to bring out the best in us somehow.
That's
We've
it.
become more humble, we've become less judgmental, more
That's right.
accepting. Yeah,
Mm. Connecting to the best version of yourself.
yeah, absolutely.
Talking to the people, the stories I hear along the way, the stories we share, that's kind of the highlight, and all the different venues we're going to.
We open up so easily with one another, complete strangers. This journey has helped me in the support of people.
So people are probably hanging out thinking, where can we see this movie? And there's a couple of other things we'll talk about, but put people out of their misery. What's happening to Somewhere Along the Way? How
Yeah.
can people see it?
Yeah. Well, we're planning on rolling it out around Australia in February, March of
Mm-hmm.
2026. And we are looking at North America after Easter of
Sure.
next year. And then I'm sure Simon will let you know about the plans, and he's the best person to speak to about plans to roll it out on some form of pay-per-view
Yeah,
provider. I imagine we need to sort of enter those negotiations, which
yeah,
I'm sure Simon is doing,
yeah.
but that's not really my bag. But yeah, early next year, first half of next year, certainly February, March in Australia, and I'm hoping to travel with the film. So I'll do some songs beforehand, do a Q&A after, just as we did at Mount Vic Flicks here in the Blue Mountains last weekend, which was a full house and a lovely, lovely event. It was really
Right. That's a lovely cinema, isn't it?
It is a lovely cinema up in the Blue Mountains. Yeah, yeah.
I saw it in the city, in that sort of little private cinema, and it was really good, very, very intimate. It was nice.
It was nice that two screenings back to back on one Saturday afternoon in Sydney. It was lovely.
No, that's great.
Fancy
So I'm
showing screenings of a film.
going to press you for links and information that we can put down below the video, so people can see what's happening with the movie and where they can go and see it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing I think we should probably share down below the video is your podcast.
Yeah.
So let's digress for a minute. Tell us a little bit about the Camino Podcast.
Well, in 2015, I was working for a big media organization that had the number one radio station in Sydney, the number one radio station in Melbourne. And the CEO came to me and said, I want you to look into podcasts. So we did a lot of research. This is back in the early days of podcasting, so well over 10 years ago, and realized this is a big thing. This is a big deal, and we should be leading the way on this. So we put together a strategy and went to management, and they said, let's go for it. But the actual hosts, the stars of the radio show, saw it as a threat to radio, saw it as a threat to their kingdom, and said, no, we're not going to do it. So we really, to use an Australian parlance, we took our eyes off the ball and missed a terrific opportunity. That organisation is still catching up today as a result of not being ahead then. Well, that CEO said, you guys don't know what you're doing, and walked out, set up his own organisation. And one of the first people he called to come and have a coffee with him was me. And he said, give me some ideas. And I said, oh, why don't you do this and this and that? Indeed, some of those podcasts are still around today. But he said to me, why don't you do something? And to say thank you for all of your advice and all your help and all your support. I'll host it on my server on my platform forever, and you can run amok. And I said, okay, I think I'll do something on the Camino. He said, well, away you go. And so I did. And so I'm up to 437 interviews with people around the world. We have, I mean, sponsors from all around the world. We have listeners in pretty much, I think, 90 something countries every week. So it's kind of taken on a presence of its own, Rob. Really, it's sort of bigger than anything I'm doing now, because people come to me every single day. I'll get a message, I'll get an email, I'll get some contact via direct messages via social media. I think you should interview this person. I think you should interview that person. I'd like you to, to interview me about my new book or what have you. And so I really love doing it. And as I'm sure you're discovering, it's fun, right?
It's fun. It allows you to endlessly talk about a favorite topic.
Exactly right. And the other great thing about it, Rob, is that I'm a big cricket fan and I'm a big rugby league fan and I like my motorsports. But if I did a podcast about any of those, they're out of date next week.
Yes.
Whereas the Camino is content that is evergreen.
Absolutely.
And it is, it's, I mean, perhaps in a year's time or 2 years' time, this chat about the movie won't be quite so current, but it doesn't matter, really. You're still learning about the Camino and taking little bits and pieces. Just last night, my wife Jen and I had dinner with 4 people who are keen to walk with us on our musical Camino in May next year. Oh. And the questions they were asking were pretty, run-of-the-mill. And some of the questions I hadn't heard before. And I was really surprised that I hadn't heard them before. So the Camino keeps bringing up challenges, even after, I've only done it 5 times. I know people who've done it 25 times.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm certain challenges and questions and surprises keep coming up for them too. Yeah. So that's why I keep doing it after all these times. After all these years, I hope to get to 500 episodes and we'll have a look at it then, because I'm getting busier and busier as I get older.
It's hard, doesn't it? Yeah.
And I'm really keen to keep it as a quality product. I wouldn't like it to suffer, which seems ridiculous when you talk about 437 episodes. But I'm fairly committed to sort of making sure.
Do you find yourself sort of running out of topic ideas? Although with interviews, you've probably got a constant stream. Constant
stream, and trust me, everyone has a story.
Yeah.
They might not know it.
Yeah.
But that's my job to
tease it out.
Not even tease them.
Yeah.
But I think as well, Rob, for those of us who have an interest in the Camino, you like to hear why other people are so interested in the Camino, so that it might shed a little light on your interest as well. And you might think, that's me. Oh, I feel like that too. I'd never really put that into words, or that had never occurred to me. And so by listening to other people's stories, we can see a little reflection in ourselves. And it might ring true for us as well in that respect. Well, that story relates to me too, and so I can relate to that person. Yeah.
I'm going to ask, somewhere along the way, the song, where did that come from? What was the inspiration for that?
So I was walking the Meseta in 2017, and I carried a guitar on my back. I haven't got it here. It's hanging in the lounge, on the wall in the lounge. And I was, the poles when I walk, and my feet, the poles, and the feet go. So I just was in my head just singing, and I always sing when I walk. I just sing nonsense songs. I sing old opera songs. I sing just anything that comes into my head. And I started just singing, somewhere along the way, I hope you find what you're looking for, somewhere along the way. And what on earth is that? And then I started just singing little lines of things that I'd seen over the course of the 3 weeks before. I walked with a German gentleman, and I would say, when are you heading off tomorrow, Klaus? And he would say, tomorrow will be 7 bells to 4. So he would start at 7 and walk till 4, 7 bells to 4. And I walked with a gentleman who was very, very cranky and angry about the Pyrenees and how difficult it was. Rather than accepting the fact that he had got himself there, that didn't seem to ring true. But he the horses with the eyelashes on the Pyrenees, those beautiful horses, he was walking over to them and they were running away from him. And I was saying, he's so angry, he's frightening off the horses, for goodness sake, this guy, right? And then on a bus seat, it had written on a bus seat, I think it was in Loronio, I can't recall, but it had written there, believe you can, you're halfway there. The chickens in the cathedral in Santo Domingo del Codara, and all these little tiny things, the roses going into Loronio along the river, those pink roses, as a pilgrim does, I bent down to smell the roses.
The bridge over the river,
Yeah. And they're Camino roses. So I just started to sing, and I don't know how or where or why, Rob. And I've said this probably 1,000 times before. I didn't write that song. I channeled that song. Yeah. And so the first line is El Camino Roses, Santo Domingo Crows, believe you can, you're halfway there, 7 bells to 4. So frighten off the horses, and an old soul awakes. So I walked with these gentlemen. One was an old soul whose soul had been asleep for many years. And he said, on the Camino, I feel like my soul is awakening. And I walked with a British man who he said, I have a lion's heart, a very proud British man. And another man who said, my heart has been closed forever, but I feel like my heart is opening on the Camino. And I walked with a Danish man, and he used to say, my soul is old as slate. So that line is, believe you can, you're halfway there, 7 bells to 4. Frighten off the horses, an old soul awakes, a lion's heart, an opening heart, and a heart as old as slate. Wow. And so seeing these little things that I'd seen and experienced, I got to town to Hontanas. I quickly wrote down the words. And then a pilgrim came over to me. I was getting the stamps, the cellos. I wasn't getting them in a credential. I was getting them on the guitar, on the front of the guitar. And
what did I think of that at the Pilgrim's office?
yeah, well, they loved it. They absolutely loved it. Oh yeah, I was getting photos with everybody. By the time it finished, I've got a photo I can share with you somewhere. I could even send it to you, Robin. You might feature
please. We'll put it in the video.
Yeah, you can put it in the video. By the time we finished, it just looked incredible. But that night, in the cafe, this lady came over to me and said, "Are you Dan?" And I said, "Yes." She said, "I'm listening. Today I listened to the podcast where you said you would be walking the Camino with a guitar, and here you are." I said, "Oh, nice to meet you." So she sat down and we had coffee. Yeah. So I never got to play the song. I never actually physically played it. I just had it in my head. Yeah. And that night at dinner, I said, do you guys mind if I play a song I wrote today? But everyone said, yeah, well, that'd be great.
It's something I knocked up today, yeah.
And so I played it. And I actually had never physically played it before until I played it for them. And then that night, I played it 3 times. Following day, a pilgrim said to me, "Where are you staying tonight?" And I said, "I don't know. I never know where I'm going to stay." And I said, "Why?" He said, "I want to hear the song that you wrote." And I said, "How did you know about that?" He said, another pilgrim filmed it, and we all watched it in the cafe, and we loved it. And so I sang it the next day, the next night, the next morning, the next afternoon. I played it everywhere I went. And then by the time we finished, people were singing it back to me. And I actually, after all these years, Rob, someone sent me a video of me singing it that very first time.
Oh, wow. That'd be precious.
So if you like, we can insert it there. I can send it to you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. We'll put that in. Yeah.
So there you are. There's the first time of me playing. That's the footage, actual footage of me playing it for the very first time, which I didn't know existed until just a couple of weeks ago.
Amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. It's amazing. It's
that's
amazing.
The Camino.
Well, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. It's the Camino. And the gift that keeps giving all of us, because here you and I are connecting today. And here you are.
I'm trying to think of how people can connect with you more and hear more of your music. You mentioned you're playing some gigs this weekend. How can people see where you're playing and keep?
It's on my website, danmullinsmusic.com.
Yeah.
We put all the gigs up there. I play 2 or 3 times a week these days, and we're also organising, as I say, tours of North America next year, where I'll do a show, and then we'll have a short intermission, and then we'll show the film. So
If you're
And
still with us on this video, make sure you look in the description down below, because you'll find out where the gigs are going to be, where the movie's showing, the podcast.
yeah. And if you're interested in walking a musical Camino, there's a link on my website as well. Yeah, it's a fabulous thing to do, and it's a chance of a lifetime, and it's a lot of hard work for us, but we love it.
To get back to we'll finish on a sort of broader Camino question, because I was talking to someone yesterday whose mother keeps talking about walking the Camino and she never gets around to doing it. So I said, Ted, I'll make a video for your mum. I said, you find out all the things that are concerning her about, not wanting to walk the Camino. And I said, I'll do a video for Ted's mum. So for people who want to do it and have doubts in their mind, well, what would you say to them?
I'd say that everyone can walk the Camino. Everyone. It might not be the same as everybody else's Camino, but you walk your own anyway.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you're the fittest person on the planet or somebody who needs a hand. There's a way that you can do it. And there are people who have never taken a step in their lives, never, who have walked the Camino.
Yeah.
There are people who can't see who've walked the Camino. People who...
a blind pilgrim. Sure, amazing.
Amazing, right? People who can't speak, who don't maybe even understand exactly what's happening, are walking Caminos. Yeah. So there is a way for you to walk the Camino. Yeah. All you have to do is ask, and someone will help you do it. Yeah. And what's more, you might think, I'm too old. Well, you're never too old. No. You might think I'm too frail. I can't possibly get fit enough to do it. All of those things are totally achievable. And if you really want to do it and it's calling you, I think it's best to answer that call by having a real shot at doing it. And as I say, there are ways and people willing to help. You do it. Yeah, just ask.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, Dan, I think we better leave it there. So I don't want to take up your whole day, but it's been absolutely fascinating talking to you.
Thanks, Rob. It's been a pleasure.
Such insights on the Camino. I can see it's part of your soul. And
yeah,
I do a lot of thinking through film, through music.
Yeah, I do a lot of thinking about it, and good luck with the YouTube channel and everything that you're doing too. And anything I can do to help you at any stage in any way, shape, or form, by all means, just let me know. I think it's terrific what you're doing.
No, it's fun. It's fun. I did threaten to stop doing it because I get so busy. A lot of complaints. Oh, okay.
It's a lot of work.
It's fun to do.
It's a lot of work, but it's a labor of love, right?
It is. I love doing it. So, Dan, best of luck with the movie going forward. Break a leg. I'm sure it's going to be absolutely fantastic. And if you haven't seen Dan's performances at his gigs, check out